Let's talk about the extortion first. Can you tell us when you were first approached and how you were approached? Did you get a phone call? Was it an email, a letter? How?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the information came to us. They were trying to turn our pain into their gain. So we were both shocked and outraged that they would demand this much of God's money.
Hello, faith builders. I hope you're all doing well. Today, we have a lot to unpack as we continue discussing the truth behind Daystar, Marcus Lamb, Joni Lamb, and the ongoing controversies. There is no credible evidence or confirmed reports about Marcus Lamb being involved in any affairs. Marcus Lamb was the founder of the Christian television network Daystar and was known for his ministry work. However, in 2010, he and his wife, Joni Lamb, publicly admitted that he had committed an act of infidelity years prior. They addressed it openly on their network, saying they had worked through it with counseling and forgiveness. The admission came as a preemptive move, as they claimed that individuals were trying to extort them for money in exchange for keeping the matter private. The Lambs stated that they chose to come forward instead of giving in to blackmail.
The couple says 3 people threatened to go public with the affair if the ministry didn't pay them $7.5 million.
Let's talk about the extortion first. Can you tell us when you were first approached and how you were approached? Did you get a phone call? Was it an email, a letter? How?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the information came to us. They were trying to turn our pain into their gain. So we were both shocked and outraged that they would demand this much of God's money.
Lamb is feeding to these media outlets, including Good Morning America and Ms. Roberts. Oh, they're trying to extort me. They're extorting me, all right. So Robert says, let's talk about the extortion. She's going with his narrative. Oh, she's a journalist, all right. Can you tell us when you were first approached and how you were approached? Now, please listen very closely. Did you get a phone call? Was it in an email, a letter? How? In other words, Marcus, how did you find out that these people are trying to extort you? Email, phone call, letter, how? Marcus Lamb dodged the question.
Tell us when you were first approached and how you were approached. Did you get a phone call? Was it an email, a letter? How?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the information came to us.
Evidently, he did not want the viewers to, and I'm just reading from the lawsuit that alleges what I'm entertainment opinion looking at, viewers to learn that the supposed extortion took place in a meeting with 2 of Daystar's lawyers in their office, and that the person communicating the supposed threat was not the 3 supposed extortionists, but a licensed attorney with 29 years of experience and a spotless record. Instead of answering the question, Marcus Lamb said, well, a couple of weeks ago, the information came to us that these 3 people were demanding $7.5 million in order to keep from going to the media. This, I'm reading from the lawsuit that alleges these things that I'm opining about for entertainment purposes. The statement was false and defamatory. Segment concluded with Miss Roberts asking, and Marcus, a final question about the extortion case. She's full blown, but and why wouldn't they? This was really pretty smart on the part of Marcus and Joni, because, all right, it's finally going to come out what they've been covering up, and they're going to have to deal with it one way or another, but they want to spin it in a way that is to their advantage. And so they concoct it. This is my opinion, entertainment. So they concoct this way of dealing with it. And of course, the secular media is going to pick up what the secular media loves. A Christian in sin story. They love that. So of course they're going to give it to them. And then they're spoon feeding the narrative that they want them to go for. And I'm sorry, maybe they paid this Ms. Roberts off and the network off, or maybe she just fell for all of that. But anyway, obviously, he had led her to believe that the identities and location of the 3 supposed extortionists were unknown and that a manhunt was underway. See, Marcus Lamb is making them think these 3 people are out there somewhere and they're trying to extort us. Nobody knows who they are, but we're going to find them. I called the law. I called the sheriff. I called the sheriff of Boone County, and he's coming down and he's going to. But that was a lie. He knew exactly who they were. He knew exactly who these individuals were and why they had gotten in contact. And it wasn't to extort. It was to have things made right after they had been wronged. He knew who they were, and he knew who their attorney was because the attorney had met with them on their premises.
The question of whether Marcus Lamb was truly blackmailed or if there was foul play is a highly debated one. Here's a breakdown of both sides. Marcus Lamb's claim: blackmail. Marcus publicly stated that individuals were trying to extort him for $7.5 million by threatening to expose his affair. According to him, these people weren't just exposing the truth, but were attempting to profit from it by demanding money in exchange for their silence. He framed this as an attack on his ministry and an effort to steal God's money. The other perspective: foul play. Critics argue that this was not extortion, but rather an attempt to hold him accountable. Some believe that instead of taking responsibility for his actions, Marcus flipped the narrative, portraying himself as the victim of a money-seeking scheme rather than admitting to the deeper issues within Daystar. There are also claims that employees, including Jeanette Hawkins, were harassed for refusing to participate in the cover-up. So, what's the truth?
There actually are 3 people who were not involved in what we're talking about today or affected by our marital challenge they're now saying that unless Daystar pays them $7.5 million, that they're going to take our story that we just shared with you to the media.
People includes Jeanette Hawkins. Jeanette Hawkins, the whistleblower in the Daystar scandal. Jeanette Hawkins, a former marketing director at Daystar, found herself at the center of a major scandal when she refused to stay silent about Marcus Lamb's affair. Unlike others who may have chosen to protect the network's image, she took a stand, a decision that came with serious consequences. Hawkins revealed that she was harassed, followed by private investigators, and even spiritually raped, a term she used to describe the deep emotional and psychological toll she endured. She was reportedly pressured to participate in a cover-up but refused to compromise her integrity. This refusal allegedly led to intimidation tactics designed to silence her. When Marcus Lamb publicly claimed he was being blackmailed for $7.5 million, many questioned whether this was truly extortion or a strategic move to shift the narrative. Jeanette Hawkins saw the truth behind the scenes and knew that she couldn't remain quiet. By stepping forward, she exposed not just the affair, but the toxic culture of secrecy, manipulation, and fear that surrounded Daystar. Now, she's sharing her story, hoping to help others break free from religious abuse and stand up for what's right, no matter the cost.
To feel like I was betrayed in that area, the only way I can describe it to people is that I felt like I was spiritually, and that's a strong statement to make, but it's because there was nothing left. I mean, there was nothing left of me to give. And it was like I said, the darkest place that I had ever.
Hawkins filed a lawsuit against Daystar, seeking justice for what she endured. Her case wasn't just about her dismissal. It was about exposing a larger pattern of manipulation and abuse within the ministry. She argued that her removal was not based on performance, but rather a calculated decision to eliminate a threat to Daystar's reputation. Her fight is a reminder of what happens when whistleblowers challenge powerful institutions, and how far some organizations will go to protect their image.
Here's what the court document says. She was the producer of The Joni Show, a production starring Joni Lamb. Throughout her employment, plaintiff worked closely with Joni Lamb, who was her direct supervisor the entire time she was employed by Daystar. During the course of plaintiff's employment, plaintiff began to date a male employee of Daystar. The relationship was not prohibited by any policy of Daystar. On January 11th, 2010, Joni Lamb instructed plaintiff to terminate her relationship with the other employee. For approximately 2 hours, allegedly, Joni Lamb berated, belittled, and harassed plaintiff. Joni Lamb told plaintiff that she had shamed both Daystar and Joni Lamb, called plaintiff a liar and a bad example, and told plaintiff she was unhealthy. Joni Lamb also asked the plaintiff explicit and inappropriate questions about her relationship with the other employee. No one at Daystar made any such demand of the male employee whom the plaintiff was dating. Now, Daystar deliberately humiliated the plaintiff. She was subject to numerous instances of verbal abuse and insults, some of which were directly related to her gender. On March 10th, 2010, plaintiff was fired without lawful excuse. The male employee whom plaintiff had been dating was neither demoted nor terminated as a result of his relationship with
Jeanette Hawkins wasn't just fighting for herself. She was fighting for truth, justice, and accountability within Daystar Television Network. As a high-ranking employee, she had first-hand knowledge of the infidelity scandal involving Marcus Lamb and the alleged cover-up efforts within the ministry. She refused to stay silent about the situation, which put her at odds with Daystar leadership. Her fight was about exposing corruption. She didn't believe in hiding the truth to protect a public image. But instead of addressing the real issue, Daystar allegedly retaliated against her. When she refused to comply with efforts to suppress the truth, she claimed she was subjected to harassment, intimidation, and surveillance. Eventually, this battle cost her her job. Many believe her termination wasn't about job performance but a deliberate attempt to silence her. By firing her, Daystar could remove a whistleblower who refused to go along with the official narrative. But even after her dismissal, Hawkins refused to back down. She filed a lawsuit, determined to hold those in power accountable. Her story became a powerful example of what happens when integrity clashes with institutional secrecy.
Why did you never come forward with this before this alleged extortion attempt?
Well, Joni and I wanted to have plenty of time to heal. We wanted to have a track record of living right and doing right. Plus, our children were young, and we wanted to spare them the pain of this until they could at least be old enough to be able to handle it better.
How'd you find out?
There was an individual that cared about me and cared about him that had some information where they believed that this could be going on, and they came to me and shared the information with me, and I confronted him the same day.
And you knew this woman?
Yes.
Most women can often sense when their husbands are being unfaithful, and I believe Joni Lamb, with her intelligence and awareness, must have noticed it too. However, she chose to stay silent, not out of genuine concern for her family, but to protect her own interests. As both a wife and a business partner in Daystar TV Network, she had much more at stake than just her marriage. Exposing the truth could have damaged the ministry and her position within it. Instead of speaking out, she seemingly prioritized maintaining her influence and status over confronting the reality of Marcus Lamb's actions. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates.